And the third book of our Disney 100 Advent Calendar is Dumbo's Snowy Day. One chilly day, the circus animals were on their way to a new town, but their train, Casey Jr., was struggling to get through the falling snow. His wheels slid on the icy railroad tracks. Finally, Casey Jr. decided it was too dangerous to keep going. The train came to a stop and waited for the snow to pass. Dumbo was happy that the train had stopped. He'd never played in the snow before. He thought it felt very strange as he tried to walk through it. His mother, Mrs. Jumbo, encouraged him. "You can do it," she said. Soon, Dumbo got the hang of walking through the snow. All morning, Dumbo and his mother played in the snow. They gathered snowballs together with their trunks. They made snow elephants and even played hide and seek. But as Dumbo and his mother explored, they got farther and farther away from the train. Suddenly, Dumbo slid down a steep hill. He called after his mother to follow him, but when she reached the bottom of the hill, Mrs. Jumbo realized she couldn't climb back up. Dumbo tried to push. He tried to pull, but nothing worked. Mrs. Jumbo slipped farther down the slope toward the sharp edge of a cliff. "You will have to fly off and get help," she told Dumbo. So Dumbo flew off as fast as his ears would take him. As he soared toward the train, the wind began to blow. It pushed harder and harder against him. Finally, Dumbo's ears got so cold he couldn't fly. He worried about his mother while he waited for the wind to pass. Once the wind died down, Dumbo raced to the train. He gathered all the animals together so that they could help. "What are we waiting for?" Timothy Mouse cried. "We've got to save Mrs. Jumbo!" Dumbo led his friends back to the cliff. By the time they found Mrs. Jumbo, the windstorm had pushed her even closer to the cliff's edge. The animals knew they had to think of something fast. "Oh dear," worried the giraffe. "How can we get down there to help?" Timothy snapped his fingers. He had an idea. "Everybody line up," he shouted. He ordered the animals to grab one another's tails. At the front of the line, the ostrich leaned over the cliff to take hold of Mrs. Jumbo's trunk. 1, 2, 3, pull! Yelled Timothy. The animals worked together, huffing and puffing, pulling and stretching, until Mrs. Jumbo had made it safely to the top of the cliff. But suddenly there was a loud crack. The cliffside gave way, and the animals tumbled down. "Watch out!" yelled the hippo. "Yikes!" cried the monkey. "Uh-oh!" said the giraffe. "Help!" shouted the bear. All of the animals tumbled together and rolled down the hill. Before long, they had become a giant snowball. "How do you stop this thing?" called Timothy as they zoomed along. The snowball gathered speed until... Crash, bang, boom, oof! The animal's snowball hit the bottom of the hill and broke apart. "Is everyone okay?" Timothy asked as he straightened his hat. Luckily, everyone was fine, just a little dizzy from their unexpected snowball ride. All the animals began walking back to the train. Walking wasn't nearly as fast as riding a snowball, but it was a lot less scary. That night, Mrs. Jumbo gave Dumbo a warm bath. "Thank you for flying to find help today," she said to her son. Dumbo smiled and blew a trunkful of water over his head. "Hey, don't forget about me," said Timothy from his teacup bath. "I helped too." Mrs. Jumbo nodded. "You certainly did. Thank you." "Aw, gee," said Timothy. "It was nothing. Nothing at all." What a cute story. And speaking of cute, look at this Dumbo plush. He's even got his hat and feather. If you would like to buy this Dumbo plush, I provided the link in the description box below. And don't forget, today's story comes from the Disney 100 Advent Calendar 2023. I've also provided a link to it in the description box below. Now, I have heard some rumors that it is sold out, but if you use this link, it will help you find other advent calendars too. Don't forget, all links provided are affiliate links, and I will be compensated if you use them. Thanks for watching! Hope to see you tomorrow when we find our next book.